Hello, everybody, and welcome to this live video. It will be posted on the YouTube channel later. I wanted to talk about figure collecting. Figure collecting is something I've done since 1990, I would say. So I'm 34 years old, and when I was a kid, it's always wrestling figures. Start with the LJNs, and I remember vividly us going to Target, Toys R Us, Fred Meyer's, always trying to get those wrestling figures, trying to scratch that figure itch, you might say. So, one thing I've been doing then since when I was 13, I was able to go out and get my own figures. And then when I was about, I used to go to Toys R Us every time I got paid when I was like 13, and I was still buying figures. And then I was 18, and I was still buying figures. But when I got to be 25, I was with someone at the time that convinced me to get rid of all of them. And at the time, it was everything from Hasbro to Jakks Pacific that I had. I had classic wrestling superstars. I had a lot. I had I had saved every figure accessory. Ring bells, the cookie sheets, the tables, the chairs, the ladders, barricades, caskets, announce tables. And then it literally was I'd restart. And then from 2010 to like 2013, I was collecting again, and then I restart again because there was a house got condemned, and all my figures were in there. So for the past couple years, I've been searching for figures. Now, recently, I've come back and I've really got into it. So what I do is I love the Jakks Pacifics. Hasbro, I get them when I can, but a good example was me and my fiance were at a swap meet, and this dude had a whole bin of them. Didn't say that they weren't for sale, they weren't for the public. And what happened was he wouldn't sell them to me because he wanted to put them on eBay, but turns out he actually just sold them to his friend for free. But I was able to get one figure out. There was a Honky Tonk Man figure. So Hasbro's I don't have a lot, but I do have somebody donated a whole shit ton of them, about 80 figures, and I spent $100 and bought every figure that was in there. And then from there, I literally go all the time. Recently, Fred Meyer's in my area has started carrying wrestling figures again. So I picked up a Shelton Benjamin, Shinsuke Nakamura, and I think I got another one. I got those two so far. And what's really good is recently the Walmart's been carrying a little bit better ones. I got the WrestleMania 34 attire Finn Balor. I try and get every Finn Balor figure I can find because Balor's one of my favorite wrestlers right now. I'm currently on the look for the Aleister Black figure like everybody else is. The Pete Dunne. Today I actually got a Scott Hall WrestleMania 8. I can actually show it. I actually made a video about it. See? Scott Hall, NWO. And I got a Kurt Hawkins figure because I am a avid listener of the Major Wrestling Figure podcast. And that's something else that got me really into looking for some of these figures. And there's a channel called Wrestle Days, which is really good. Now, while I let them breathe, there are certain figures I don't open. So I have a defining moments. He's over in the corner. Macho Man Randy Savage from WrestleMania 3. I have the Retro Fest figures from GameStop. I do not open those. I'm currently trying to collect every figure that has a belt so I can have championship belts. So one thing I do with these figures, unlike everybody else, is I have a fantasy wrestling thing I do. And I use these figures. I still play with figures. I still play with the action figures. Yes, I know I'm almost 35 years old, but I still play with the figures because it's fun. It's an outlet, it's an escape, and it's something really cool. There are certain figures that do not get opened. Like, I have the Demon King Finn Balor figure, not the one with the Universal Championship, because I've been looking for that one, but an actual one like that. I have a couple Balors. And then it's just I love collecting wrestling figures. But my favorite is the Jack Pacific because those are the ones that I use so much is the Jack Pacific figures because they were really good figures to have, and it doesn't matter what figure that was. I remember I had any Raven figure that came out, I bought that. I would go and I would look and I would have there were certain figures that I would have. Whether it was the signature series or there was I didn't really buy the Stomp or the Warzone ones. I wanted ones that looked like their attires. I had your Vaders. There was this really cool Billy Gunn from he was like the end of the Jack's Pacific line where he had like the short hair, so it would probably be the 2001 Billy Gunn. And I really liked that figure. I also liked the Kane figures that I had. I had a lot of good Kane ones. I had a lot of Austin figures, even though I wasn't a Stone Cold fan. I had this Mick Foley one that I really liked. And it's hard plastic. He's wearing the dress shirt, but he came with Mr. Sacco in a removable mankind mask. Uh I've had some of the bad figures. There are some figures that look really good and some that look really bad. I love the elite figures. I have the Seth Rollins figure, which I have one that's really good, and then I have one that's not so good because his legs don't move that well. I have every every version of Dean Ambrose. Every time I see a new Dean Ambrose figure, I have to pick it up. So I have an Intercontinental title one. I have his WWE Championship one. I have one with white shirt. I have his original Shield figure that I bought from Kmart a long time ago. I wish Kmart was still around because Kmart had when I lived in Marysville, Kmart had a lot of really good figures there. So I just kind of wanted to give a little spiel on figure collecting, how I do it. I'm still doing it. I look on Amazon, I look on eBay. I really don't buy figures off eBay that often. Amazon I do though, because I'm trying to find some really good ones, and I'm really looking for the Aleister Black figure, and hoping that I can find that one and the Pete Dunne one as well. All right, I will talk to you guys later.